Good morning, mother people. What is up? Oh fuck! I think I'm clipping. Let me turn this down a little bit. Testing. Yeah, perfect. Hey, what's up? Good morning, guys. Today I'm doing things a little earlier. I actually went to sleep at around 9 o'clock yesterday, so I woke up hella early, just to get a workout in, and it honestly feels great. First of all, what's up? It's your boy Kevin Yee the Farm D, aka Kevin the Refugee, refugeehustle.com. Got to plug in my website and stuff. But yeah, man, I just decided maybe for the next week or so, I'll just do a morning coffee talk where I just sip on a mug of coffee and just tell you about my life. And it's an easy way for me not to edit long videos, not to worry, I'm still editing stuff and continue to have content. But man, I I think one of the things I realized yesterday was like, dude, I never want to own property. It's such a pain in the ass. Oh my god. Um, it just made me realize so much, like all the liability, like when you're like how much Uncle Sam will take from you and stuff like that, the tax implications and everything. And for y'all that don't know, my dad actually, well, I'm pretty sure most of you guys know who are watching this, but my dad actually passed recently. And so we were talking to a lawyer because my dad didn't really do a will. We did like a really bootleg will, but apparently it's not like a really legit way to do it. And so our property is like frozen right now. Anyways, we were seeing a lawyer and stuff, and we went over yesterday. Man, such a pain in the ass. Like, um, there's so many laws and stuff, and I think that's one of the things that's really important. You need to have your in Rich Dad Poor Dad. He says you need to have your financial circle, right. Um, like you need to have a good CPA, you need to have a good lawyer because in the long run they'll save you. They'll save you in the long run, right? And man, I just feel like there's so much headache. Even with my dad's flood and stuff, right? Uh, Even with my dad, like the flood that happened to my house and stuff, it kind of sucked, dude. Um, we're like waiting on payments for that. We're waiting on but because we haven't received the payments, and keep in mind this happened all the way back in like October, November time, right? Um, Keep in mind we're still waiting on payments is delaying like the house and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of headache, man. And the other day I was just thinking about the return on the house. Like I was hearing stories where the lawyer that we were seeing, he paid like about 60,000, and I think, or actually like my uncle paid like 200,000 on a house, and now it's like netted like almost like a million or something like that in the neighborhood that we bought in. And on the surface it sounds great. Like we do live in a really nice area. You can get a lot of rent from it. There's like a lot of benefits for a house, but for someone like me that doesn't like bullshit, like I just don't. I just feel like having a house is so much bullshit for the amount of return. If you like, so 200,000 to a million, that's 5 times the return, right? You could easily get that same amount in the stock market if you long term invest. Roughly, like, if you do the rule of, like, I think it's the rule of 72, I can't remember. Rule 72, where you take the ROI and divide it under 72, that's like the amount for your money to double, right? And so, especially with compound interest, it's not hard to do. I mean, like when I invested in 2009, uh, everything was up by 300% for me until now, right? So, like, it's definitely possible in the long term, right? If you invest that same money in the stock market, and you don't have to deal with all this headache and stuff too. Now, and like I just feel like passing on, like let's say if I die, right? it's a lot easier to pass on all my investment assets and stuff like that. It's a lot simpler. It's a lot easier than doing like the whole house. You don't have to deal with like the whole deed and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying like housing is for like housing is the worst decision in the world. Obviously, it's not. A lot of Asian people, they don't have retirement. Like if you're taking a look at traditional ass like Chinese people, man, like a lot of them don't save for retirement and stuff like that. And having a house is like very secure in their opinions and stuff. There's a lot of emotions involved in owning a house that makes it for most older and financially illiterate people. Yeah, man. Like for I'm not saying like buying a house is like the worst decision in the world, but there's so many factors that come into it, and people think it's like this really safe investment sometimes. Not to say investing is not like foolproof, but at least it's not like a tangible item that can be like fucking wiped out by a flood or fire or all this stuff. I guess that's why you have insurance too. But when you factor all the repairs and everything like that, it not only causes headaches, but I think it really washes out your return. But like I said, like I think the point where I will actually own and consider um, real estate is like when I have a lot of money and I'm trying to diversify my streams of revenue. So like in the early stages, if you're like me, you're chasing a lot of like the best return and stuff like that. But as you get older, you can't take some of the volatility of the market because it's not always up, right? We're just really blessed in a time. I'm just really blessed to be to like invest at a good time, right? But it's not always like that. I haven't faced a bear market yet, like a true bear market, because I invested during the bear market. So for y'all that don't know, a bear market is like everybody's fucking scared, right? And yeah, so I was very lucky to start investing at that time, but um, and with very minimal effort. Like if you think about it, I have most of my investments on autopilot. I don't really. You might think I might day trade every single day, but I really don't. I'm I just buy my investments and hold it, and I just wait for them to grow. It's just kind of like watering a plant. Put a little tender love and it grows. But with a house, there's like a lot of maintenance. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, there is a lot of perks for having a house. It sometimes makes people feel very secure. You know, but there's two sides to every sword, and I think the number one thing if you are like watching this video is like, hey, see if a house is for you, because for someone like me who is very transient and prefers flexibility over anything, because you probably want to live like I don't know if it's true. I don't know if the numbers are like work out. I don't like that's something I haven't run, but I've heard like you want to stay at a house like for at least 10 years. If you're going to be in the area, stay there for at least 10 years, and it'll pay for itself. But who the fuck wants to do that, man? Like especially at my age, like going back to LA, Boston, and like I want to travel the world and stuff. Like, does it really make sense? I don't know. You know, it's just food for thought. And I just feel like rent sometimes, like with renting, you can move as you want. Like if there's an opportunity somewhere, you can take it. If you want to move into a better school area, you can just pay that money off and then move out whenever you want. If your landlord kicks you, well, you can find rent somewhere else. It's not the end of the world, right? But with buying and selling a house, it's not an easy process, and you gotta have to have so many hands in the bucket to help you aid in that process. So same with my investments. Like if I want to sell my investments, it's pretty easy. I just do a few clicks and it's done. I just gotta make sure I don't get tax capital gain and stuff, or like short-term capital gain. But like in general, like it's relatively pretty easy, like compared to a house and stuff. And I think like as I going to a tax lawyer and all that sort of stuff, it just was like man, this is such a pain in the ass. Like having my dad's assets like frozen, and all because like Chinese people, they fucking hate doing wills, man. It's just so annoying, and it costs you in the end. If there's one thing, if there's another thing, make sure you set up a will, especially if you own property. Like man, and I'm not scared that my mom isn't gonna get the property and stuff like that, but it's just like really it's tough, man. Like it's tough, sort of dealing with this, knowing that like my mom has to go to court and stuff, and or the lawyer has to go to court and all this other stuff. So it's not a easy process in this case. And I'm sure people have success stories with houses and stuff too, but um, you know, I think for me, at like I want to say a white belt level, like when it comes to money, um, it's probably better right now for me just invest in stocks and all that for now, or not stocks, but in the market. Just in the market in general, because I understand it more and it's more flexible. So I don't know, man. I don't know why I felt so compelled to talk about this today. I think part of it was dealing with the insurance company yesterday, like seeing how much was paid out. And honestly, I think after like the whole like seeing all the everything damaged and shit, like the number one thing I want like from the insurance claim is my fucking Dreamcast. I just want Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and my fucking Dreamcast. That's the only fucking things I want, right? But it also taught me like, okay, you know what? I think it's really important to be a minimalist, because if there's shit like that, like this happens, you don't need to store all this shit. Like honestly, the less shit you have, the better, because more your money is liquid, and you can move it around and do stuff you want. And plus, like for me, I'm not a materialistic person. So like, I mean, like think about this barbell brigade shirt. This is OG, man. Like I've had this for years. A lot of this stuff I hold on for years. And so like holding on to shit like really costs you in the end. Especially when my dad was sort of a hoarder, we lost a lot of items. But I guess this is a blessing in disguise, because like I don't know how else we would have got rid of all the items, to be honest with you. I think it's a steep learning curve. Know nothing about real estate, but once you got it down, probably easy. And that's probably what people say about investing too. Like they're like, "Oh, it's so hard and stuff." And you know, I and yesterday I was actually writing my course for my investing product too, and you know, eh, like I think like with anything, right? If you put enough time into it, if you put enough reps, if you take enough swings at something, it's easy to understand. But it's kind of like Fallout. I've been watching a lot of Fallout New Vegas streams and stuff, and I've been watching that, and it kind of reminds me of the skill points, where you only have like time are your skill points, and like things like sneak, steal, barter, speech, stuff like that. Those are the skills that you can invest your points into, right? And I guess like one of the skills that I've put into is like reading a lot of investment books and stuff like that. Real estate, eventually I want to learn more about it. I'm not discounting it altogether and saying I'm never, well, I actually renamed it. I was going to say why I don't want to buy a house. My first title was like why I never want to buy a house. But it's just how I feel at this moment. Maybe in the future, like when I have kids, I'll feel very different about buying a house. But I just don't think the way things are now, like I just feel like there's better opportunity somewhere else. Yeah, my parents are hardcore hoarders. Vietnamese lol. Yeah. Vietnamese parents, man. I don't know how Vietnamese parents are, but like a lot of OG, like Khoisan Chinese people, like they had everything stripped away from them during the war. And they had everything stripped. And they were like, so I don't blame them for hoarding and stuff. It's natural. Like if anybody that has been through like that cold, like World War II, Cold War mentality, thinks that there isn't enough, and but I think what we sometimes gotta realize too is like there's a cost of holding on to all these tangible things as well. And I think that's why the Marie Kondo method really kicked off. It was one of the reasons why minimalism really kicked off. Um, but even in my life, I wouldn't consider myself a minimalist. I mean, I do have, but I don't need that much in life. I mean, for the longest time, I wasn't even sleeping on a bed. I was sleeping on a Japanese futon, which is basically a mat on the ground. That shows you how like low key I am. I don't really need all this shit. And I'd be happy to sell all the tangible items. Maybe not my camera, my books. My camera and my books are probably important because obviously my camera is what I broadcast my message out to the world. My laptop, obviously, so I can edit my videos and watch Pornhub, and my my books because that's like I don't know. A bookcase really tells you like a bookcase tells you a lot about your personality. The interview with Tony Farm D was very impressive. Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah, it's funny, like because like you see Tony on one side, he's very pro like real estate, right? And then you see me on the other side, which is very pro like stocks, investing, and all that sort of stuff, you know. But and I'm sure there's like I am not knowledgeable in real estate, and it could be just me being really dumb, like not knowing it. But I think that's why it's important to have like a circle of advisors too, because what I realized too is like um, there's different tactics to shelter your money, from taxes, because as you get richer, Uncle Sam wants more from you, and I think having those resources like really helps, felt made me realize that hey, I need a down ass like CPA or something like that to help me out with my taxes and stuff and all that sort of stuff too. Especially when if I start working again, or like if I go down this entrepreneur route, like all the write offs that I can do. But anyways, it's about 17 minutes. Wow, I streamed a little over, and I didn't even sip my coffee, man. But I gotta get to work. I'm going to be releasing some new videos soon too, so don't you worry, guys. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace. Thank you again, Iced Tea Tropical Fruit, for tuning in. Later.